Hey everybody, it's Josie. Welcome back to Cedar Creek Homestead. I hope y'all are having a wonderful day. It's beautiful here at Cedar Creek. Nice and sunny, warm out here, a little bit breezy, but that's part of Oklahoma being breezy. It has been for about the last week. Cold in the mornings, upper 30s, lower 40s. We haven't had a freeze as of yet in our location, but we've gotten pretty close. So I haven't picked our tomatoes yet. Still have green tomatoes out there, and so we're really watching the weather on a daily basis just to make sure that we don't need to get out there and get them picked. Trying to give things as much time as possible to do all the things that they're going to do. My tomatoes are loaded with blooms, but we know that they're not going to make it as far as having tomato production on the blooms. They don't have enough time. Things are starting to color up slowly. My maple trees right here behind you guys are starting to blush a little bit with really pretty colors. My walnut trees don't have any leaves. They've already blown off of them, and they'll be dropping their walnuts and doing their part to be ugly throughout the winter time. But anyway, that's what's going on around here weather-wise. We've had a little excitement. Friday, Blade stepped on a nail and had to get a tetanus shot. It's been his first tetanus shot in a long time, and so it was necessary for him to have that. I haven't had a tetanus shot in a long time myself. In fact, I believe the last tetanus shot I had was when we lived in Arkansas, which was about 15 years ago, and I tripped and fell wearing a pair of flip-flops. I'm so clumsy, you guys. I really am. And it doesn't surprise me that I tripped, but I had on a pair of flip-flops, and I thought one of my geese were going to pinch me, and so I was trying to get away from it. Caught my toe on a paver stone and a native stone, and fell and tried to catch myself, and so I ended up breaking some fingers, and my skin was broken, so I had to have a tetanus shot then. So we've been dealing with that, and we've been dealing with allergies. That's just something that we deal with. We know we live in the country, and I can look behind you guys' pasture, and it is got a lot of grasses and weeds in it, and I know that I'm allergic to some of that, and so that's something that we deal with. Monday was my anniversary, and had my Howie still been with me, we would have celebrated 30 years of marriage. And so I have looked back at some of the videos, YouTube videos that Howie done the first several years that we had a YouTube channel. Looked back on some of those, and was seeing about what he was speaking on, and a lot of the things that he was talking about then are still relevant, very much so. The one that stuck into my mind was one that he did on global food shortage, and so I listened and tried to make comparison from what he was saying then to what is going on now, and have things changed. And no, things haven't changed. Not all. There's been a few things that might have improved a little bit, but like he was saying, there's beef, there's pork, there's different things that were short during the virus. Remember that you go to the store and you couldn't find things, and now it's easier to find those things. But we know that events are taking place all over the world that may change things again. One of the first things that you have to think about with global food shortages and shortages in general is the things that are going on in the world. And we know that on several fronts there are wars and rumors of wars. And we know that Ukraine and Russia are still fighting. Now Israel and Hamas and Hezbollah is doing some of that stuff, are involved in war, and other rumblings all around the globe. And while it doesn't seem like those things should affect us here in this country as far as the things that we grow and we produce for ourselves, there are a lot of things that we get from these other countries. Ukraine, we get grains and we get fertilizer from those areas, and we get things from Israel and different areas, that any kind of upset in those keeps us from getting the things that we're used to having, being able to provide for our families. And so there's a lot of people that are telling you that there's things that are going to be short at the grocery store, and there very possibly could be. And that's where it's going to take a little wisdom on your part. I say, and I've been talking all along, that you need to have a list of all of the foods and supplies that your family needs and uses. And I've said this over and over again for my household too. You need to remember, you need to know what it is that your family has need of and what they use. If you don't buy a whole bunch of something, if your family won't eat it, they don't like it, it's not going to do you any good. And so then going forward, a lot of people are out of gardening is done for a lot of people now for this year. Some have fall gardens, and while that'll produce some, your major bumper crop comes out in your summer garden. But you can take advantage of farmers markets, and you can take advantage of vegetable and fruit stands and different ways of getting produce, and continue to can it. You don't have to grow it yourself to be able to can it and to put it up. We have a produce stand that's not too far from us. It's about probably 40 miles from us, maybe. And they have wonderful prices on vegetables and fruits by the case. You can buy them and you can put them up. That's an idea that you can do. You can go and you can stock up in the Dollar Trees, Dollar General. Check your grocery store for their dollar items. There are short sales. There's all kinds of things that you can do to continue to stock your shelf. I'm never going to try to shame you into saying you should have grown your own garden and grown all your own stuff, because I didn't do that myself. I have items on my shelf that my family enjoys that I don't grow here, and so I do have those things. The most important thing is that your children have a full tummy at night when they go to bed. We're really quick sometimes to discourage people from doing anything to help themselves if it doesn't fit in a particular mold. And I just think that the time right now is a serious time. We need to do everything that we can to try to provide for our families in the best possible way that we can. Now, supply chain is better than it was. It's still not 100%. There's still, you can go to town, to grocery store or to a big box store, and you can still see some holes, some places where they don't have the shelves just overflowing with items, with products, and that may be by design. Maybe they haven't ordered as many products in because they haven't been able to sell them. But that is still an issue, not quite as bad as it was. We're not seeing the ships backed up and bottlenecked like they were. That's improved a little bit. But if these wars and all these things are going on, and the oil prices skyrocket and something like that happens and it continues to go up, then we know that there is a lot of shortages that will be caused simply by the fuel prices being astronomical and pushing those that are in that trade into a corner, not being able to afford the fuel it costs to carry it from point A to point B. There's a lot of things for us to think about with gas and with oil and diesel. And like here on our farm, we use gas. We use diesel. We have oils. We have hydraulic fluids. We have different oils that we use with different pieces of equipment and gases, and I don't know all the stuff, but we have a bunch of different things that we use. And those things need to be kept in stock so that we have them when we need them. Something else that you might be noticing is shrinkage as far as packaging. You know, you get a can of pork and beans or whatever it might be, and you know, last year or the year before last, you might have paid 50 cents a can for pork and beans, and now you're paying $1.25 for a can of pork and beans. So prices, either they're just astronomically high, or they've kept the product at the same price, but you're getting less of the product. For example, potato chips, you know, they have as much air in the bag as they do chips in the bag. And I know there's supposed to be some kind of formula for all of that. Cereals and other items that the packaging was one price and one size, and now it's same price, smaller size. Just be aware of that. Beans is another one. Beans, you were getting a pound, and you can still find some places a package of pinto beans, dry beans to cook, a pound package for whatever the price is. And now they've dropped down to 12 ounces. So just be aware your packaging. Watch when you go, watch at the store for items that you're getting more for the same price. What do you think of when you hear food shortage? Do you think that, you know, if you hear there's a shortage on sugar, which there has been a shortage on sugar, is your first thought there's no sugar at all, or simply that they're having a hard time getting to your particular store, or that there's some other reason that there's a food shortage? Or that there's some other reason why there's a shortage in that particular item that you're looking for. Lots of experts are out on YouTube. You can listen to different channels that have some pretty good information that will tell you, you know, what items they believe are going to be short. And some of them have information for you, legitimate information. And it always goes back to people saying that people are trying to fearmonger and scare and worry people because of all the stuff that's going on. And it is a scary time, and it is a worrisome time if you're unprepared, if you don't have anything. You know, our parents, our grandparents, my grandparents especially, and my aunts and uncles, they prepared. They had stuff put back. My great aunt, I spent a lot of time with her in the summer. She had one son, and he had 2 kids, and so she kept my mom a lot when she was a girl. Her and my aunt's son played a lot together, and then when I came along, I stayed a lot with my aunt, and so they were empty nesters, and so I got to spend a lot of time with them. And she had an incredible amount of food put back for just the 2 of them. I can remember this room that she had that used to be the kitchen before they remodeled and built a new kitchen. So it kind of became her pantry / washroom. And she had 2 freezers in there, plus she had her refrigerator freezer in her kitchen. And then she had pantries that were just full of food. And she, you know, she cooked and she canned and she done all kinds of stuff. Well, it took me years and years and years to realize that what she was doing is she was helping her children, her son and his family, or she was helping her mom and dad that just lived right next door to her, right down the road from her. And she was able to provide and prepare for her family. She was born in the late 30s, and so they knew what it was to be without. And they lived the rest of their lives, them and my other aunts and uncles. They were part of a big family. They all lived with having plenty of things prepped, plenty of things put back in their cellars and their food storage areas. And I think that that's something that we need to get back to today, is back to those food storage, back to those pantries, back to those cellars. Make sure that we are putting up and preparing for our families. They didn't know the things that were going to happen on a day-to-day basis, but they knew the things that had happened, and they wanted to be prepared in case it happened again. And we need to live that same way. We don't know what's going to happen, not in the physical. We don't know that. We don't know what's coming down the pike at all. But we can be prepared the best we can be prepared for our families. Food security, water security, first aid, absolutely. Security, period. And that's something that I'll let Blade speak to on that. And all the things that you possibly think that your family might need. That's including sewing and repairs and tools and all the things that you might possibly need in the future. I try to not live in fear, but try to think in scenarios. What would I do if something happened in the world and we couldn't just go grab something like we're used to doing because we're such a blessed nation? What would I do? How would I fix that? And so I have little plans in my mind. I've got a binder and I've got notebooks that have handwritten notes and things that says this is what to do in this. I have lists of substitutions. Use this when you don't have this. And all kinds of things. And I think that it's a wise thing to do. Prepare, 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 prepare. Because we don't know what's coming down the pike. And we need to prepare for our families. I don't want to ever hear the cries of my grandkids because they're hungry and I don't have anything to offer them. I don't want my neighbors to hurt because I can't help them at all. I want to be useful. I want to be an extension of the Lord and let Him use me to help and to bless others. The best way I can do that is to prepare for myself. I don't have a lot of money and a lot of things that I can give to people, but I can feed them and I can do other things, perhaps sew for them and you know, maybe they have something that they can do for me, and just, you know, work it like that. Do the best that we possibly know how to do. Now, the food shortage thing that Howie talked about, though a lot of those things are still with us, they're still there, that you never get to a place where you've arrived, you've done enough, you can sit back and relax and take it easy. You always need to work until we leave this life. We always need to work and to prepare, providing, putting back, making preparation for tomorrow, and we'll be better for it. And you know what? If something happens to me in the night and I should expire and go on to go on to be with the Lord, then what have I lost? Nothing. Those things that I've prepared, somebody else can use them. Guys, I hope today that I've encouraged you to keep going, that the things that we were thinking about and talking about, discussing 3 years ago when Howie was here, we're still talking about today. We're still working on, we're still preparing, we're still putting back, we're still trying to make provisions for ourselves and for others, and that can help us to rest easy, knowing that we're doing all that we can for the time ahead. Until next time, guys, this is a stuffy Josie. I love you guys, I really do. Keep looking well to the ways of your household, and until next time, we're gone.